Welcome to my channel Old Valuable Coins. If you're a coin collector or searching pocket change, stay tuned because some state $quarter coins from the 50 State Quarters program are worth thousands of dollars today. One of the most valuable is the 2004 Wisconsin quarter with the rare extra leaf error, known as the extra leaf high and extra leaf low. These errors appear on the corn husk and can turn a regular 25-cent coin into a treasure worth hundreds or even thousands of dollars depending on condition. Check your Wisconsin quarters carefully, especially from the Denver Mint. Also look for state quarters with off-center strikes, double dies, and minting anomalies that can dramatically boost value. Always check your change. Your next valuable state quarter could be hiding in your wallet right now. First up today we are talking about the 1999 Connecticut state quarter from the United States, one of the most iconic and most searched state quarters ever released. This coin is packed with history, design details, minting facts, errors, and potential value that collectors love. And in this video we will explore everything that makes the 1999 Connecticut quarter so interesting and collectible. The 1999 Connecticut State Quarter was part of the first year of the 50 State Quarters program, a massive and hugely popular series that ran from 1999 to 2008. Because it was part of the first group, the Connecticut quarter gained a lot of attention from collectors, new and experienced, and that interest has stayed strong over time. This coin represents the state of Connecticut through its historic charter oak tree, a symbol with deep meaning, legendary stories, and powerful cultural significance. The charter oak tree depicted on the reverse of the 1999 Connecticut quarter comes from a famous event in history, where the colonial charter of Connecticut was hidden inside the hollow of a massive oak tree to keep it safe. This story became a symbol of freedom, independence, and resilience, and the United States Mint chose this symbol to represent Connecticut in a beautiful and detailed design. The reverse of the coin features the legendary oak tree, showing incredible branch details, fine engraving lines, and a full natural look that makes it one of the best designs from the early years of the State Quarter series. Around the reverse design, the coin reads Connecticut, 1788 for the year the state was admitted to the Union, and the charter oak. Below the design is the year 1999, the minting year of the coin. The obverse of this coin features the familiar portrait of George Washington, designed by John Flanagan and modified slightly for the State Quarter series. The inscriptions include United States of America, $quarter, Liberty, and In God We Trust. Even though the obverse looks similar to previous quarters, the State Quarter version has sharper lines and small differences that collectors sometimes look for. The 1999 Connecticut quarter was minted at two main facilities, the Philadelphia Mint and the Denver Mint. This means you will find coins with a P Mint mark from Philadelphia and a D Mint mark from Denver. Both mint locations produced hundreds of millions of these quarters, making them common in circulation but still very collectible, especially when found in excellent condition or with special features. In addition to circulation strikes, there were special collector versions released in sets that include higher quality finishes. These versions were made specifically for collectors and were not intended for everyday use. Their surfaces can look cleaner, sharper, and more attractive, which is why collectors often seek them out. Even though millions were made, finding them untouched today can still be exciting for collectors. Now let's talk about the value and collectible potential of the 1999 Connecticut quarter. Even though most Connecticut quarters found in everyday pocket change will have only face value, certain examples can be worth more due to their condition, rarity, or special features. Collectors pay attention to strike quality, luster, sharpness of detail, and whether the coin has any scratches or wear. A sharply detailed 1999 Connecticut quarter with bright surfaces can be desirable. There are also coins from mint sets that have higher quality than typical circulation coins. These collector quality coins can sell for more when they are preserved properly. Many collectors enjoy building complete state quarter sets, and the 1999 coins always receive strong interest due to being from the first year of the program. Another major topic connected to the 1999 Connecticut quarter is errors and varieties. Error coins are always exciting because they can be worth more money depending on how rare they are and how dramatic the error is. Some of the errors known on the Connecticut quarter include off-center strikes, die cracks, die breaks, and coins that show extra metal or missing details. Another interesting type is a broad strike, where the quarter is struck without the collar that normally holds the metal in place, causing the coin to appear wider. Errors like these can sometimes bring good value to collectors who specialize in unusual pieces. There are also double die style anomalies in some examples where parts of the lettering or branches show extra lines or doubling. While not extremely common, these varieties attract collectors who enjoy unique features that make one coin different from the rest. The design of the charter oak tree has so many small branches and tiny details that sometimes the dies used to strike the coins would wear down. This can cause weakness in the finest lines of the tree, leading to interesting variations that collectors notice. Some coins will show stronger branch patterns, while others may have softer or flatter details. These small differences can affect how appealing the coin is to collectors, especially those who compare multiple examples. Another thing that makes the 1999 Connecticut quarter so appealing is its connection to American history. The charter oak tree was a symbol of resistance and determination, and this design brings that history to life in every coin. Collectors love coins that tell a meaningful story, and this quarter is a perfect example. Even people who are not familiar with coin collecting often recognize this design because of its unique and unforgettable look. It remains one of the most dramatic and detailed designs in the entire 50-state quarters series. Because the Connecticut quarter is from 1999, many examples have been in circulation for more than 20 years. This means a lot of them show signs of wear, such as smooth surfaces, faded details, or loss of brightness. For collectors, finding a shiny, well-preserved example is always exciting. Many people still look for these quarters in coin rolls, pocket change, or mixed lots purchased from sellers. This coin continues to be a favorite target for new collectors who love starting with the early state quarters. The popularity of the 50-state quarters program created a massive wave of collectors, and the 1999 Connecticut quarter was one of the coins that helped fuel that movement. Today, many collectors still focus on the first-year state quarters because they represent the beginning of a hugely successful coin program in the United States. If you are someone who collects state quarters or is thinking about starting, the 1999 Connecticut quarter is a great coin to add to your collection. Another interesting point about this coin is that it helps collectors learn about coin design techniques. The detailed tree shows what skilled engravers can achieve using coin dies. The reverse design was created by T. James Ferrell, who captured the natural form of the charter oak with beautiful accuracy. The design includes many layers of branches that spread across the entire coin, making it visually rich and historically meaningful. Next up, the 1965 United States quarter dollar is one of the most searched, most collected, and most talked about coins in American numismatics. And in this video we're going to explore everything that makes the 1965 quarter so fascinating, so valuable in certain conditions, and so important in the history of US coinage. If you have a 1965 quarter at home or you're curious whether your 1965 quarter might be rare, worth money, or even a hidden treasure, stay tuned because I'll walk you through the key details collectors look for, the most valuable errors, the most desirable conditions, and the reasons why some 1965 quarters have sold for hundreds and even thousands of dollars at auction. The 1965 quarter is famous because it marks a major transformation in American coins. Before 1965, quarters were made of 90% silver. But in 1965, the US Mint removed silver from the quarter and replaced it with the copper-nickel clad composition we still use today. That shift created huge demand, confusion, hoarding, and eventually a famous group of rare transitional error coins that collectors chase heavily today. When people talk about valuable 1965 quarters worth money, they're almost always referring to these special transitional errors struck on silver planchets, or coins with unusual striking issues, or pieces preserved in extraordinary condition. Understanding any 1965 quarter starts with its basic features. The obverse shows the portrait of George Washington, created by sculptor John Flanagan. The reverse features the eagle with outstretched wings perched on a bundle of arrows. The edge is reeded and the diameter is 24.3 millimeters. Unlike quarters from other dates, the 1965 quarter has no mint mark because during this period the US Mint removed mint marks to discourage coin hoarding. That means every 1965 quarter you see, whether it was actually minted in Philadelphia or elsewhere, carries no mint mark at all. Since these quarters were produced in extremely high numbers, common circulated examples usually carry face value. But certain types of 1965 quarters break that trend dramatically. Some examples show crisp details, strong luster, and remarkable preservation, and these high-grade coins are extremely desirable to collectors who search for brilliant uncirculated pieces or coins in high mint state grades. While most worn examples may be common, a truly high-grade 1965 quarter can be surprisingly difficult to find today because coins from this era entered circulation heavily. What many people don't realize is that the most valuable 1965 quarters ever discovered are the rare transitional silver errors. These are quarters accidentally struck on leftover 90% silver planchets intended for 1964 coins. Because the mint was transitioning out of silver and into the new clad composition, A few silver planchets were still mixed in during early 1965 production. These era coins are incredibly rare. They look slightly different in color and they weigh more, about 6.25 grams instead of the standard clad weight of 5.67 grams. If someone has a 1965 quarter that feels heavier, looks brighter, or produces a different sound when dropped on a hard surface, that might be a sign the coin needs a closer look. Some of these silver planchet 1965 quarters have sold for large figures because of their rarity and demand among collectors. Errors like off-center strikes, double strikes, broad strikes, and die breaks on 1965 quarters also command strong premiums depending on severity and eye appeal. Another major factor collectors pay attention to is luster, strike quality, and overall condition. A sharp 1965 quarter with no wear, clean surfaces, and attractive mint brightness can be far more valuable than someone expects, especially if it's close to mint state 66 or higher. While most circulated coins are common, an uncirculated example saved from the mid-1960s can easily attract interest. The value increases with each incremental improvement in quality. Quarters that show deep original luster, no major contact marks, and strong eye appeal often surprise sellers with their value. Some of the best preserved 1965 quarters are considered condition rarities. These are coins that look almost untouched, often stored away unintentionally in drawers, jars, or old collections. Collectors also look closely at the rims and lettering. A strong strike will show crisp details in George Washington's hair and sharper feather textures on the eagle. Many 1965 quarters show some weakness in strike, so finding a fully struck piece makes that coin stand out. Even small details in the motto, date, and reeded edge can separate a typical quarter from a collectible one. The copper nickel-clad layers can sometimes show anomalies like improper bonding or exposed layers. These mint-caused issues also attract era collectors who seek unique pieces. The history behind the 1965 quarter ties back to the national coin shortage of the early 1960s. The U.S. Mint believed that removing silver would discourage people from hoarding quarters, dimes, and half dollars. The Coinage Act of 1965 changed the composition, and production surged without mint marks to hide mint origins. This piece of history makes the 1965 quarter especially important because it symbolizes the end of silver coinage in U.S. everyday currency. The date marks the beginning of modern U.S. clad coinage. People who collect modern quarters often begin their collections with 1965 because of this historical significance. If you have a 1965 quarter at home, there are a few simple steps to check if it might be valuable. First, examine the coin under good lighting. Look for strong details, bright luster, and minimal wear. Second, check the edge to see if you can spot the copper core typical of clad quarters. If your 1965 quarter shows no copper color on the edge, that could be a sign of a silver planchet error. Weighing the coin with a small digital scale can help too. A weight of 6.25 grams is an indicator of a silver transitional error, while the normal clad version weighs around 5.67 grams. Also look for off-center strikes, doubling, missing details, or unusual shapes around the rim. These features could indicate valuable mint errors. Even coins with dramatic wear can sometimes have collectible errors, so examining every detail matters. The 1965 quarter continues to be one of the most researched dates online because collectors love the combination of high mintage, historical change, and extremely rare errors. Many videos, guides, and articles highlight these coins because the potential of finding a valuable specimen keeps collectors searching through pocket change. Even beginners who don't know much about coin collecting start with a 1965 quarter because it's easy to find, but checking for rare versions can be exciting. Searching for rare 1965 quarters is a hobby within itself, often leading people to explore other valuable coins, era coins, and collectible US change. Over time, more collectors have become aware of how important the 1965 quarter really is. The demand for transitional errors continues to grow, and high-grade coins continue to attract strong interest. Some viewers might be wondering if their own 1965 quarter could be rare, and the answer is simple. It depends entirely on condition, errors, and composition. While most examples are common, just one rare error or one high-grade coin could be always worthwhile. Many valuable error coins have been discovered by people who simply paid closer attention to the little details that others ignored. Next up, this coin has become a favorite among collectors because of its history, its minting details, its potential value, and the hidden varieties that many people overlook. If you're collecting United States quarters, especially Washington quarters from the late 1970s, You're going to want to know every detail about the 1977 D quarter and what makes it stand out. This video will guide you through its background, its mint mark features, its production numbers, common and rare varieties, condition factors, value ranges, and what collectors look for when they search through pocket change, coin rolls, or old collections. The 1977 D quarter comes from the Denver Mint, one of the most active mints in the United States, and it continued the long-running Washington quarter series that started in 1932. The design remains the classic portrait of George Washington on the obverse, paired with the proud American eagle on the reverse. Even though millions were made and the coin seems common at first glance, many collectors are surprised to learn that certain examples can be worth much more than face value depending on minting quality, strike strength, condition, luster, and specific die characteristics. That's why this coin attracts so much attention from people searching for valuable quarters. When you hold a 1977 D quarter, the first thing to know is that it's made of a copper-nickel clad composition. By this time, silver had been long removed from circulating quarters, but the clad coins still carry collectible premium when the condition is exceptional or when they show special features. The Denver Mint struck hundreds of millions of these coins, but not all strikes were equal. Some coins came out with sharp details, while others show weak strikes, die fatigue, or light damage from machine handling. These little differences are what separate a normal pocket change coin from one that collectors would pay extra for. One of the most important things that affects the value of a 1977 D quarter is surface quality. Coins that still show full mint luster, sharp detail in Washington's hair, and clean fields without heavy marks are much harder to find. Because these coins circulated heavily during the late 70s, 80s, and 90s, most examples are worn. Finding one with crisp detail and bright surfaces straight from a stored collection or an untouched roll can bring solid value. Collectors truly appreciate examples where the eagle's feathers are clearly separated and the lettering is bold and untouched. Another key topic is die varieties. While the 1977 D quarter isn't known for major dramatic varieties like some other dates, there are still minor but collectible features that people search for. Some quarters show doubling on the lettering or numbers, and these small double die varieties can be worth more to collectors who specialize in die diagnostics. Other coins show die cracks, die breaks, or small chips around the mint mark or the devices. Even though these errors are generally minor, certain dramatic examples can attract attention, especially if the break is large or creates a raised metal feature that stands out. You can also find off-center strikes, clipped planchets, broad strikes, and other mint-made errors on 1977 D quarters. These mint errors are always exciting because they are instantly recognizable and much scarcer than normal coins. The more dramatic the error, the higher the value. A lightly off-center strike might bring a small premium, while a heavily off-center coin with missing design details can be worth significantly more. Collectors love these because each one is unique and tells a story about the minting process. When talking about the value of the 1977 D quarter, the most important factor is still condition. Uncirculated examples have the strongest premiums, especially those with excellent shine and minimal marks. Well-struck coins with exceptional eye appeal can stand out even more. Circulated coins are usually very common and worth face value, but lightly circulated examples with only minor wear can still bring small premiums to collectors who need a clean example for their set. Coin roll hunters also enjoy searching for 1977 D quarters because they can occasionally find well-preserved examples hidden in circulated rolls, especially rolls that have been stored away for decades. Even though most rolls are filled with worn coins, every once in a while a high-quality coin appears, and finding one can be very satisfying. People searching coin jars, old banks, estate collections, or inherited boxes of coins sometimes discover bright, untouched quarters that have been sitting for years. Another thing to pay attention to is the overall strike quality. Not all 1977 D quarters show the same level of sharpness. Some were struck using fresh dies that produced crisp details in Washington's hair and the eagle's feathers, while worn-out dies produced softer, weaker details. A strong strike can increase desirability because it shows the design exactly as it was intended. Collectors also like to compare luster types. Some 1977 D quarters have a booming cartwheel luster, while others look duller or have a satin-like surface. These differences come from how the dies were prepared and how the planchets were polished before striking. A coin with powerful, swirling luster tends to catch a collector's eye immediately. Looking closely at the edges can also tell you a lot about the condition and originality of the coin. A sharp, clean reeded edge usually means the coin hasn't seen much circulation. If the edge shows heavy flattening or smoothing, it's a sign of wear. The edge can also reveal errors like partial clips or planchette flaws, which add additional collectible interest. The story of the 1977 D quarter is also connected to American history and daily life in the late 1970s. These coins were used everywhere, from vending machines to grocery stores to gas stations, and they became a familiar part of everyday transactions. Millions of Americans handled these quarters without realizing that some examples would later become collectible. Today, the nostalgia around coins from the 70s adds another layer of interest for collectors. When evaluating this coin, it's helpful to use a good light source and examine both sides carefully. Look for clean surfaces, strong detail, and any unusual marks that might be mint-made instead of post-mint damage. Mint errors, die varieties, and unusual features always bring extra excitement. Collectors building a full Washington quarter set often enjoy adding a strong example of the 1977 D because it represents the era well. Even though it's not an old silver coin, it still holds collectible value through condition and quality, and it's a coin that many people underestimate. Its high mintage doesn't take away from the value of exceptional examples, which remain much harder to find. As we continue exploring, think about the importance of patience and careful searching. Whether you're looking through change, sorting through rolls, or studying coins under magnification, the 1977 D quarter offers opportunities to discover something interesting. Many collectors have stories of finding an unexpectedly high-quality example in the most ordinary places. We're going to explore everything that makes the 1978 quarter worthy of attention, including its background, mintage, metal composition, varieties, errors, and the specific details collectors look for when determining value. Whether you're a beginner or an experienced numismatist, this long-form guide will help you understand the true potential of the 1978 quarter in your pocket or collection. The 1978 Washington quarter represents the final years of the traditional copper-nickel clad composition before major design and striking changes began in the 1980s and especially the late 1990s. This coin features the classic portrait of George Washington by John Flanagan on the obverse, paired with the heraldic eagle reverse design that had been used since 1932. Even though 1978 may seem modern to many collectors, these coins are slowly becoming more collectible due to age, circulation wear, and increasing interest in pre-state quarter-era pieces. The 1978 quarter was minted in two main locations: Philadelphia, which produced coins without a mint mark, and Denver, which used the D mint mark. Together, millions of coins were minted, but high-quality examples, especially those with sharp strikes, attractive luster, or special error characteristics, are getting harder to find in circulation today. As more collectors pay attention to coins from the 1970s, the 1978 quarter has become an important target for variety hunters and error collectors. One of the reasons the 1978 quarter continues to stand out is that although it was made in large quantities, most examples suffered from heavy circulation, loss of detail, and general wear. Because of this, collectors search for coins with strong strikes, fully detailed eagle feathers, crisp lettering, and clean surfaces free of scratches or damage. Even a small upgrade in condition can make a big difference when it comes to collectability. Let's talk about the metal composition of the 1978 quarter. Like most quarters produced from 1965 onward, it is made of a copper-nickel clad alloy, with an outer layer of 75% copper and 25% nickel bonded to a pure copper core. Even though it resembles silver, there is no silver content in regular 1978 quarters, but the sound, weight, and feel of these coins still interest collectors who appreciate the durability and distinct ring of clad coinage from this era. The design details on the obverse include George Washington facing left, with the inscriptions Liberty, In God We Trust, and the year 1978. The absence or presence of the D mint mark identifies whether the coin was made in Philadelphia or Denver. On the reverse, the eagle with outstretched wings, clutching arrows, and surrounded by laurel branches, symbolizes strength and national pride. Collectors often examine the eagle's wings and feathers to determine strike quality, especially for Denver coins, which vary more in sharpness. Even though most 1978 quarters are common, collectors have increasingly focused on special errors and die varieties that can make individual coins far more desirable. Some of the most talked about issues include off-center strikes, broad strikes, clipped planchets, die cracks, cut breaks, die clashes, weak strikes, and machine doubling. Each of these adds uniqueness, and the value can depend on severity, eye appeal, and rarity. Off-center 1978 quarters are especially popular. A coin struck significantly off-center, where part of the design is missing or shifted, can be worth much more than face value. The more dramatic the shift, the more collectible the coin becomes, especially if the date remains visible. When the date is missing, collectors often pay less, but well-struck off-center examples with the year intact can attract strong attention. Another valuable error is the broad strike error. This happens when a quarter is struck without the retaining collar, causing it to expand outward with a larger diameter and a distorted rim. These coins look unusual and instantly stand out. Collectors like broad-struck 1978 quarters because they showcase a clear minting mishap that is visually interesting and easy to identify. Clipped planchet errors are also found on 1978 quarters. These errors occur when part of the metal strip was mispunched, causing the coin to have a bite-shaped missing area along the rim. The crescent-shaped clip can be small or large, and the clean curved shape is a distinctive sign of a genuine clip error. Coins with larger clips, and especially those with 2 clips, are considered more valuable. A die crack or cud error on a 1978 quarter can make the coin more desirable to collectors who enjoy tracking down unique pieces. Die cracks appear as raised lines on the coin, while a cud appears as a raised, blob-like area where a section of the die broke off completely. These errors tell a story about the life cycle of the dies used to strike coins, and they add character and historical interest. There are also minor anomalies such as die clashes, where parts of the design appear in places they don't belong because the dies struck each other without a planchet between them. While many 1978 die clashes are faint, stronger examples with clearer interference patterns attract attention from detail-oriented collectors. Collectors also look for strong strikes on the eagle's tail feathers and wings. Philadelphia coins from 1978 sometimes show weaker detail, making well-struck examples more desirable. Denver coins tend to be struck more consistently, but even they can show softness in key areas, making sharp, attractive coins stand out. When it comes to value, common circulated 1978 quarters are normally worth their face value, but coins in exceptional condition, especially those preserved in brilliant uncirculated condition, can be worth more to collectors. Error coins, variety coins, and coins with unusually strong detail can command higher prices depending on demand and rarity. The real excitement for many collectors comes from the possibility that a 1978 quarter found in pocket change could be something special. The market for 1970s quarters has expanded in recent years as collectors look beyond the usual silver-era coins and start appreciating modern numismatics. The 1978 quarter represents an important transitional period between the early clad era and the coming changes of later decades. Its age, design, and potential for error discoveries continue to drive collector interest. Another factor influencing the value of a 1978 quarter is eye appeal. Coins with bright luster, original surfaces, and minimal contact marks always attract stronger interest. Some collectors focus on toning, which can give a coin unique color patterns ranging from gold to blue, purple, or rainbow hues. Toning can occur naturally over decades and often increases eye appeal if the colors are attractive and evenly distributed. For new collectors, the 1978 quarter is an excellent starting point because it's affordable, accessible, and offers a wide range of learning opportunities. Beginners can learn to identify mint marks, study strike quality, compare circulated versus uncirculated surfaces, distinguish mechanical doubling from true doubling, and recognize errors that can turn a normal coin into a noteworthy find.